What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the show, man. Recap with Mo, where we getting ready to get into another episode recap of All the Queen's Men. But before we get into this thing, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down right here, alright? So the episode we getting ready to get into is for season 3, episode number 2, titled Daddy's Girl, alright? So the synopsis for this episode states that Trouble goes to great lengths to prove her loyalty. Madam receives unfiltered advice from her father after one of her tantrums lands her in hot water. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into this episode. So we start this episode off with Trouble and Rashawn, who, in the previous episode, they ran through this gas station and blew up the car when they were running away from the popo. All right, so that's what happened. So now we see them walking in this field, and they receive a phone call from Blue. Blue is like, look, we need y'all to come back down to the club or whatnot. So, of course, they don't have a vehicle. Rashawn is like, look, you should be worried about that vehicle. Like, what if they can trace it back to you? Trouble's like, look, that vehicle is stolen. All right, so they ain't gonna be able to ID it. I need you to be up on your P's and Q's. That's pretty much what she's telling Rashawn. So anyhow, going on from there, we head back over to the police station where we see Casanova is still working on that computer. Now, if you recall, he was there talking to Davis. He goes back there to talk to the other police officer, to tell him to go and separate the prisoners, because that's what Madam wanted him to do. All right. So anyhow, he was unsuccessful with that initially, but he took that time as well to find out about the files that Davis had on her computer or whatnot, or within the system. So going on from there, we head over to Madam's house where we see she and Tommy. Now, Tommy, let me go ahead and give this to Tommy. Tommy is ride or die for real. Like, he is strictly dedicated to Madam. Whatever Madam wants, he's going to give it to her. If she wants some sex, he's going to give her some sex. If she wants some English muffins, he's going to go in there, put on that apron, and he's going to cook it up. You heard me? That's the type of dude Tommy is, all right? So Tommy comes in and he tells Madam that she has a guest, all right? So Madam goes and she goes to speak with this guest, and his name is Attorney Lovett, all right? So when she goes in there, they pretty much discuss the release of those prisoners, her dancers that are incarcerated right now. She wants them to be released, and she wants them to be released by tonight so they can go in there and make that money, right? So anyhow, Attorney Lovett pretty much conveys to her that, hey, if we could have this judge, if we could have had this judge, then it would have been a lot easier. And he's like, look, we need to find another judge because Judge Ross would have handled this situation, but of course she's not there. So anyhow, Madam is like, that's why I got you here, so you can figure that out for me. So he was like, I think I know somebody that would be great for the job. So anyhow, going on from there, we see Attorney Lovett talking to the judge as well as the DA. So when they're in front of the judge, Attorney Lovett is like, look, this whole situation is out of hand. They don't have no evidence. They just got my folks locked up. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The judge is turning to the DA like, is this for real? Do you not have any information, any proof, pictures, nothing, no DNA, no blood, nothing? Like, okay, and you got these folks locked up. And then he even says, this is the third time that you've done this. So anyhow, the DA is pissed off because the judge is now allowing these dancers, Babyface, Doc, and Alonzo, he's getting ready to allow them to go. So, of course, the DA isn't happy about that. So while the DA is still in the room, Davis comes in to see her. And she was like, look, you need to hurry up quick because I'm getting ready to find me another investigator. Davis is like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, don't do that. Like, we so very close. She was like, look, you need to go ahead and find out something quick because the judge just released these things, all right? So I need you to do something about it. So anyhow, the next thing we see is Madam showing up at Club Eden, and she informs DJ Dime, that she's going to be a little late because she's going to see her father, right? But while she's there, she also receives a phone call from Attorney Lovett conveying to her that the three gentlemen have been released from jail, so she should expect them to be there sometime soon. So anyhow, Madam's like, okay, that's good. So Madam is like, did y'all take care of Amp, his whole little situation or whatnot? And Blue tells her the whole situation, and Madam is like, look, I guess Trouble was actually with us. Because if you think about what happened in the previous episode, Trouble was the one that saved, the fellas from getting locked up, because the body was in the back of the truck that just so happened to be locked. But so when Trouble drove off in that stolen ride, she sideswiped the police car, and that led to a head-on speed chase with the police and Trouble. So all along, Dime was watching, as well as anybody else that was out there on the street that could be an eyewitness, right? So anyhow, Blue has heard all this information directly from Dime, I'm assuming. So anyhow, that made Madam say, okay, well, maybe she's truly with us or whatnot. So anyhow, going on from there, Blue also tells Madam about the situation that went down in her crib with the old girl that is now with the ancestors, all right? So Blue is like, hey, with your permission, I would like for you to allow me to get him. Madam is like, no, we're not going to do that. And you see all this security around here or whatnot, like, we need to just hold off. But I'm glad that you told me that, that just so happened to be somebody that was kin to who we trying to get rid of, right? So anyhow, we see Davis heading down to the infirmary to talk to Alonzo or whatnot, and just to question him. So when she gets in there, she was like, do you really know who Marilyn DeVille really is, Alonzo? And he was like, look, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't saying shit. Like, I ain't got nothing to talk about. And he's like, if you really want to talk to me, then you could talk to my attorney. Davis is like, shit, now you got an attorney? Like, all this time while you was sitting in the room, while you was sitting in the jail room, you didn't have nothing to say about an attorney, but now all of a sudden you got one. So she's threatening him as well. Like, get your ass up, get out, get out. And I was like, damn, these some rude, like, between sisters. And this episode with these policemen and, detectives or whatnot, they pretty rude now when they can't get what they want. Okay. So anyhow, we head over to Madam, who goes to see her father. When she goes to see her father, she runs into Nurse Johnson. Now, we'll get into Nurse Johnson later. But right now, Nurse Johnson tells almost said Eva, tells Madam that, hey, your dad really misses you. Every so often he'll take out this picture and he'll tap on the picture, and that lets me know that he really misses you. And Eva's like, not Eva, damn. Madam is like, okay, well, next time that happens, he taps on the picture, just call me and I'll come down here and talk. Like, that's some cold shit or whatnot. So anyhow, the next thing we see is Babyface and Doc. Now, they are now being released or whatnot, and Attorney Lovett comes up, and he's the one that's there to pick them up. So they was like, cool, we ready to go. He said, well, not just yet, all right? We're waiting on an additional person, right? So when they say, well, who in the hell is it? When they turn around, it happens to be Alonzo. So they were like, hell no. So when he says, hey, Alonzo, we've been waiting on you, Alonzo ain't trying to get in that car. And as a matter of fact, he tells them, I'm not getting in that car. And he was like, why not? He said, them tried to kill me, bro, in the jailhouse. So he was like, I'm definitely not riding with y'all. So anyhow, Attorney Lovett is like, well, F you then. Like, he's gone. So from there, we see Madam going down memory lane with her father outside or whatnot. They putting on this thing, this air or whatnot. And when the coast is clear, the daddy snaps up out of it. He was like, look, you done got in some shit. Like, what's going on? Like, and he tells her pretty much that she done messed up with this whole Raphael situation. And Madam is like, yeah, I know. Yeah, he was like, yeah, you done seriously messed up. And then he said another thing. He said, this whole situation with your sister, he was like, you can't put your hands on her. She was like, no, do you know what she's trying to do to me? Don't you know she's trying to burn down my club? He was like, look, she's blood. We don't do that. And he said, she knows that as well. I was like, you need to go look at your daughter, bro, because she obviously doesn't know that because of what she just got finished trying to do to your daughter. All right, so you don't know all you need to know. I'm just trying to tell you, bro. But anyhow, going on from there, her dad said that he'll try to find out, something about what's going on. And then he wants her to come up there to see him every Thursday. Then he tells her to look up this lady by the name of Griselda Blanco. All right. And Madam is like, yeah, you've already told me about her before. I've read everything about her. I pretty much know everything about her. And he was like, look, I want you to read about her because there was an incident where she was trying to steal one of the Kennedy boys back in the day. And then he looks at her and she was like, so what are you trying to say? And he was like, look, there's this whole situation, and we can get into this a little bit later, but he's informing her about potentially moving up the ladder to get what she really wants out of this situation. So maybe she needs to go after the governor's daughter, who just so happens to like some black meat. All right, so use that trump card right there to get what you want. All right, so we'll talk about that soon. All right, so going on from there, we head over to Amps. Now, we head over to his crib where we see Alonzo shows up over there instead. Now, I don't know how the hell he got over there, but he got over there, all right? So, when he comes in, Alonzo is all panicky, and Amp is like, what's good, bro? Like, why did you show up over here? Alonzo starts talking about, they tried to kill me. So, immediately, Amp is like, hold the hell up. And he starts to pat him down. And Alonzo was like, hold on, bro. I ain't got nothing on me. I ain't got no bugs or nothing on me. He was like, okay, I'm just trying to make sure. So Alonzo pretty much tells him the whole situation that went down, how the body was there, how it disappeared, whoa. And Amp is like, look, you just going to have to go back to the club or whatnot. Alonzo is like, I'm not going back to that club by myself. So Amp says, okay, look, I'll roll with you. So let me just go ahead and get dressed or whatnot. So we head back over to Club Eden where we see Trouble and Rayshawn have finally made it back over there, and they are in the midst of Madam in Blue. So Trouble is talking to Madam in Blue about the whole situation. Madam is impressed at that. We'll deal with that at a later date. But Madam also asks about Casanova's whereabouts. Blue is like, he hasn't made it here yet. But Madam is like, look, as soon as that shows up, y'all need to let me know something, all right? So anyhow, going on from there, Madam comes to, going back real quick to the whole situation with Trouble and Madam. Madam pretty much says, okay, thank you, but go on about your merry business. See, Trouble thought this was going to get her in the big room. Unfortunately, it kept her where she was. What I think Trouble needs to do is just keep working, being patient, and we'll talk about that in another video, but she just needs to be a little more patient and allow Madam to grow on her just as Trouble can grow on Madam, all right? So anyhow, going on from there, like I was saying, she comes down to the fellas in the dressing room. So when she gets in there, she sees Alonzo, and she pretty much has this conversation with him out in the open because Alonzo is just now opening his eyes to what he's really involved in. It's obviously clear that up to this point, he never knew a damn thing that was going down in Club Eden. Like, how can you be that so oblivious to what's going on around you, bro? But anyhow, Madam is like, look, you're going to have to choose. Like, you went down to the police. I can't really trust people that's going to the police, not in my line of work. But you either going to have to trust me or you're going to have to trust the police. Alonzo was like, well, I trust you. And she was like, okay, then. Go ahead and get your ass out there and get this money. I was like, damn, like a pimp. Like, So while she was back there, man, she sees Amp and she was like, look, I need you to come and see me in my office. So, of course, the fellas are feeling some type of way because Amp done had off time and every damn thing and ain't told nobody nothing about the gunshot or the knife cut, whatever the hell it was, or the surgery. He ain't told them nothing, so they just left there to assume, right? So anyhow, going on from there, We see Amp and Madam having this conversation. She was like, "You good? I just want you to know, and I'm not apologizing because I don't say sorry about nothing." And I was like, "Damn, like you did shoot that brother through the door. Like it's all right to apologize. I mean, you could do that technically, but okay, that's not what you do. But it would be a good gesture." But anyhow, going on from there, he's like, "Auntie, I'm good. Auntie, I'm good." But you weren't good when you were laying on that table and they were pulling they were pulling that bullet up out of you. You were not good then, brother. You were screaming all blood and murder. But now you all good because you were in fear of your life. That's what you're afraid of. But anyhow, Blue comes in. She interrupts the conversation by letting her know that Casanova was not in the building. So Madam tells her to find out where he is and bring him there immediately. All right. So going on from there, we head on to see Pops. Now Pops is my type of dude. Now honestly, Pop has played his role. Now we go to see Pops. Now he done told Madam, while he was out there sitting in the wheelchair outside, he done told her that old girl, Miss Johnson, Nurse Johnson, if you nasty, has been making him do some things, all right? Or doing some things to him, making him feel strange in a good way, all right? So anyhow, now, when we see Pop and Nurse Johnson, she's finally giving him his bath. Now, I don't know how damn long it takes to give somebody a bath, but I knew you told Madam earlier when it was still daylight that you were going to go give him a bath. So I guess you had to wait on all the people to leave the shift and you be the only one on the floor for about 10 to 20 minutes, right? Because that's exactly what it looks like you had to do to, allow all of this to go down. So anyhow, she's like, okay, so it's time for your bath or whatnot. So she's scrubbing him down, and then she scrubs down below the equator. Now, if you recall what he said, she was trying to see if he could get an erection. Obviously, he can still get an erection, all right? So she likes what she sees, and then she takes it a step further by going down underneath the equator with those. And I'm going to leave that to your imagination because we are a family we are a family channel over here. But anyhow, so she got that thing in the air. She's, doing what she does. And then, I don't know, ladies, why y'all love to do this, but you do it so very well. You look up at the person, and she was like, oh, now I got your attention. That man said, oh, you definitely effing do. Old girl looked at him like, oh, hell nah. I was like, oh. Man, that's my recap on this show, man. Listen, Pops had it, man. I wish that he would have held it out a little bit longer, got to that peak a little bit, got done while she was sitting up there doing what she was doing, and then said something to her. But he did it perfectly, man. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, man. I enjoyed it. Episode number 3 will be out tomorrow, along with The Shy. That will be out tomorrow, episode 1 and 2 for that recap. Also, please like and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss shit that's going down. Also, with that, make sure to comment down below. If you ain't commenting on this daggone show, I don't even know what to think about you. But anyhow, until next time, I'll holler at y'all. Peace.